Okay. Bear with me 1 second there, guys. Okay. Good morning, guys. Now, just let me know if you can see me okay. If I'm coming through loud and clear, if you can hear me all right. Okay. All right. We'll just get up and running. Let me just quickly find something there. I want that, and I want that. All right. So welcome to the Morning Playbook. This is going to be a short 10 or 15 minute talk just on what we're looking at for the intraday action, intraday price action on a couple of markets that I trade just intraday. So they're not the longer term stuff. It's more just a shorter term trades, trend trades. We're trying to go with momentum. They might be a bit scalpy, but it's going to be the levels we're looking at. All right. G'day, Bobby. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be something that I'm going to try to do most mornings, or there might be a review. We'll do a review in the afternoon. So no, that's unusual again. No voice. All right. So I would try, Bobby, to go to the. Everything's coming through okay. I don't know why it's not forwarding on. All right, bear with me 1 second. So you can't hear me at all there, Bobby? No, it's going through to YouTube. It's coming through loud and clear through the YouTube channel. It's getting pushed out there now. Yeah, give that a go and see how you go. I mean, I'm hoping it's not me. It looks like it's coming through from my end anyway. So I'll keep going. The video will be there. I'll give you the link later on. Just email me. Anyone that doesn't hear it also through TradingView, please send us an email to support@tradesetup.com.au and I'll forward you the link for the YouTube channel, which you'll be able to find yourself anyway. So we're going to be uploading this automatically to YouTube. Hey, how you going? Lauren, just let me know if you can hear me, mate. Still speaking away. Seems there's a couple of issues. Still no luck. Yep, Lauren can. All right. It might just be on your end, Bobby. Anyway, if you've got any questions, just we'll shoot them through. So what I'm going to do is go through. I think both of you actually had a good little trade with us yesterday afternoon, late afternoon. So I just whipped out a quick intraday trade on the SPY for a short sell, and that kicked off really nicely. I think I netted us somewhere around, I think it was 18 points and 35 points on the SPY, just into the close there as the markets are weak. Now overnight, we know market has rocketed up. So we had the pretty much hit midnight. Everything was heading south. Usually more talkative. True. So markets were heading south into midnight through the European session. They were all coming under pressure, including the Dow, the overnight Dow and everything. And then it basically turned on a dime and shot up. All right. So it's getting that, everyone's brushing aside negative news. And I did not expect the sort of rebound that we saw on the Dow and in the US markets to turn around from being down a couple of hundred points to up a couple of hundred points. I mean, that's a big push. And it's not pretty much the traffic on. If you look at, let's go here on the 30-minute chart, was all one-way action. Pretty much open down, midnight, just took off into the early hours of the morning where it closed at about 6 a.m. I think on the Dow. So that's the S&P. The Dow is much the same. Pretty much all one-way traffic, just ramped higher. You've also got the Nasdaq, the same sort of action, ramped higher after a big sell-off. So if we look at the mini, That's the Dow Mini. That was under severe pressure. You know, it was coming under pressure here, and then pretty much turned around and just blew out all those resistance levels. So what I'm expecting, that was a bit of a ramp up. It was a bit of a short squeeze. So it'd be interesting to see how we go. You can see a key level just in here, which I'll mark up on the CFDs in just a minute. You can see a key level. It's approaching. Market's extended. The momentum's actually up at the moment, but potentially starting to ease. It just depends. So I'm looking at the MACD for momentum. So if momentum's pushing up here, obviously an uptrend, you want to be buying on the dips. But when it starts to get extended, this is an indication for me that the buyers are running out of steam. They may have to pull back, ease off in the stochastics, and then the stochastics might pop up again as you're going with the flow. So that's when you're uptrend. So really what you're looking for from here is what levels it's going into, is the move extended, so on and so forth. So if we'll go over, and we're just going to mark up the Dow, the SPY 200, and the Hang Seng for levels we find interesting, for levels that we might want to get involved in the market. Obviously, things are going to change quickly intraday, but off the 30-minute chart, which I've got here, we'll start on the Hang Seng. Actually, we'll get to the Wall Street, the Dow. The levels can change. You just got to adjust it. So you really, the first thing I'm doing on any given day is marking up off the 30-minute chart. You might pop it back to get the overall levels, what's happening on the daily, what's happening in the hourly, and so on. But the 30-minute is the key for me for the action. I mean, you don't want to be selling into it if it's a strong uptrend. You know, if it looks like it's the start of an uptrend, you don't really want to buy on these sorts of moves down. You know, we've just popped down through some levels. We've got a green candle here. You don't really want to be a buyer off a 5-minute candle when the bulk of the move is clearly on the downside. So really what we're trying to do is see, obviously that push straight up, it pushed straight up through, was it 23,316, bounced straight up after washing out you know, if you go take a step back, a couple of key levels. So you have a level through here, which it approached, retested, and then sold off, and it took out another key, well, not really a key level, but it took out another low from way back in, what was it, late April, the 22nd, washed it out and then pretty much ramped up from there. So we've got our levels of interest. All right. So particularly, I don't know whether this one will come into play when we've got another 600-700 points. So you can probably discount that. You might find that we could come down to retest this low, but that's a big sell-off. At this stage, it looks like this market's ramping up. It's still heading strong, and the next level which we could be looking to work off is 23,868. So that's a couple of 100 points up, which is fine. In this kind of climate, the markets are moving, you know, a couple of 100 points at a time. In the overnight markets like now for the US, the market could easily ramp up. So in saying that, what we can mark up sort of on the shorter term, we have minor levels, which are holding that trend up. Okay, so we have a minor level just in here at 23,585, which we could be working along off. It's getting just near these highs, so it could be capped in here just at the moment. This minor zone around, it's just the previous highs from overnight, or pretty much from the close. So since we closed, you have a minor pullback, and it's regaining a bit of a head of steam. The market is stretched. Okay, so looking at the stochastic, there was means between buying pressure and selling pressure. All right, so the buying pressure's kicked off, and the buying pressure is still holding in strong. There's no real sellers coming in just yet. Okay, which you would expect. Momentum's still up. Is starting to ease, but there's still more than enough momentum to keep this trend up and keep it pushing up to 23,868, which I would expect coming into a US session on a Friday night. They like to ramp it one way and then pretty much hit it back down, or ramp it down and hit it back up again. Just what the action is doing is completely cleaning out. So this move up here was just completely cleaning out shorts that built up from the Asian session and through the European session. Just a clear ramp. It's a clear short squeeze, but it's where we're trying to ask ourselves where it's going to, what opportunities this create intraday. All right, so that's sort of the key levels which we've got at the moment. If this level breaks to the downside, so we've got, if we hold here and we sort of squeeze that high and we start to ramp down, then okay, shorts are on the cards. But if this just continues to plow up, we're just looking for pullbacks to buy into pullbacks, and that we know that we've got this level incoming a couple of 100 points up. I mean, we're not trying to take a massive gain. If we can get 20, 30, 40, 50 points, great. If it kicks off hard and we don't have to worry too much about it, we're bought it and the market rallies hard, then we might be able to get 100 points up our bag, in our bag, up our sleeve. All right, so that's the Dow. It's on the way up, and we've got the same with the Hang Seng at the moment. Now, the Hang Seng futures is not open until 11:15, which is just about an hour and a half away at the moment. So they'll kick off, but you can see same sort of scenario. We've got a level in here on the Hang Seng, which is just, whoops, just broken. All right, and that's around, say, give or take 24,000. All right, so that was just holding that level down. It's not a key level. What you're looking for in a key level is something, like this, where it pushes down, pops up, builds a high low, and then starts to drift down again from the anchor level. So this is more a key level, right up at 24,410. So we've got about 400 points in the upside potentially. So if the Hang Seng gets a bit excited, this trend up could continue, just continue to squeeze out any sellers that built up in yesterday's action. So you know that when the index opens for trading, there's going to be some positive moves up because the US has finished up. They've caught Europe off guard as well because Europe was pretty much down into the close. The DAX and the FTSE, they were down a couple hundred points. Well, I think a couple hundred on the DAX and 100 and something on the FTSE. On the actual physical index. So they're caught off guard because the US has rallied since then after just on their close. So it'll be interesting to see if that squeeze continues. But pretty much the same action we just talked about the Dow. We've got this little zone. The trend up on the 30-minute the trend is still up on the 30-minute with the high low holding at 23,585. So we're just looking for that. If that doesn't break, we're biased up. If it does break, we're going to look for a shoulder or a lower high to sell into. We just go and draw that up. On the Hang Seng, you've got something similar, right? So we don't know what's going to happen just yet until the futures open, but you can trade off the back of the CFDs. So we got on Trade Direct 365, which is what I use here. There's a lot tighter spreads outside of markets than most, all right? And they're tighter inside markets as well. When the regular trading hours, it's probably a couple of points, whereas I think a lot now still 5 points at this stage. But we'll see. So yeah, trend up here. Happy to go with the flow. I won't be looking at this too much until 11:15. Once the physical market opens, the futures market opens, I like to trade when the futures hours because you can get washed around on the CFD prices. But still, there's some action to play. There's something on the Dow, and that's what we'll be watching from now. So Hang Seng, pretty much, like I said, the same thing. We'll be looking at. Whoop, my mouse is playing silly buggers. There you go. So we're looking at this high low holding. Now, if that pops through, same sort of action. You want to see if they get a retest. Well, that would be nice if that just did it properly. I think my mouse is running out of batteries, but anyway, see if it can get. All right, doesn't want to do it. Pop up, retest, hold, and see if we can plow up into that 400 zone. So that's going to give us a lot of opportunities. If we drill down to the 5-minute chart, if we do pop up here and we pull back and hold that zone, dropping it down to the 5 and the 1-minute chart potentially, looking at the 5 mainly for your entry zones, and see if we can plow up to a couple of hundred points at least. See if we can get a couple of hundred points on that, and it's the next level which could come under fire. Now, if that holds and we just continue that trend up, that's what we're looking for. Same sort of scenario, blasting up. Okay, but if not, we might get a bit of a flush on the open, and there might be, being a Friday, there might be some negativity come in. You might find that it flushes there and it comes straight back down. And what that's going to do is catch off all these longs, okay, catch them offside because there's quite a few longs that would have bought up. Yeah, short squeeze here, but we're coming to that level. We're just playing around that level, and don't forget it's not the actual physical market. So the CFD, you're looking at this price here from 6 o'clock. It finished below, so there's a chance that we sort of flush around here and then come straight back down on the open and flush out all these buyers into the weekend. But we'll see. Yeah, I use my intraday trading, all right, I'm using the 30-minute charts mainly, but I like my executions off the 5 and the 1 just for refining your execution, refining your entries. But the key levels are going to be off your 30, and the key momentum at this stage is off your 30-minute chart. All right, let's get over to the, not sure how long we've been going for just now, 14 minutes, so we're about there. I'll just quickly go over the ASX for the SPY. SPY team scenario, we've got a key level at 53.82. So I won't be surprised if that flushes up to that zone. It is 30 points high. You might get a bit of a push up early morning until midday, and then maybe the market easing off into the close. That's going to be stretched. So the ASX is probably going to open up somewhere around 50. So you're asking about an 80-point day at some stage, 80 to 100 to get through that level. Now, I wouldn't expect it to get through that level today, because that would, if it's going to plow through there and finish well above, that's a 100, 120, 30, 40 point rally on the ASX after yesterday's sell-off. I find, and being a Friday too, I would find that improbable more than anything, but you never know. All we're doing is trading price action. So again, that's your high-low, holding this trend up. It's a bit extended at the moment. You can see buyers are going to run out of steam sooner or later. Momentum's still up, which is, leads me to believe maybe we'll get a pullback. Look to buy into that pullback if we start to find a high-low form, and then see if we can play up in that 53.82 later on today. Otherwise, we're looking for a shoulder, and a shoulder means a lower high. All right, so we're looking for that, and you'll be drilling down to your 5-minute chart. Now, there might be an entry, straight down off this zone. Once we open up, we might chop around here and start to build a lower high in the 5. Then we might take a quick scalp trade and see if that can get some weakness to push back down to 53.21. But we'll keep an eye on all that. All right, we'll finish up there. Just want it short and sharp. Now, if you have any questions on this, or you'd like to discuss further, just send us an email to support@tradesetup.com.au. Otherwise, everyone that's getting the alerts, just keep an eye out. We'll see if we can get some intraday trades like we did yesterday on the SPY, which was, I think it was basically this drop off here into the close, which could have been a lot better in hindsight, but you don't want to be sitting around all night. But anyway, 35, 50 points total is pretty good, I'd say. Anyway, guys, enjoy your day, and we'll speak to you soon.